Some parents say it could put their children at risk.
I think it's the most inappropriate thing, completely. I just don't see the point of putting someone like that in an open prison.
Also on the programme, fears that a shortage of special needs education places will get worse unless action's taken now.
After those shocking summer pictures of litter left on our beaches, how you can join thousands of volunteers cleaning up our coast this weekend.
And cricket commentator Jonathan Agnew tells us how listeners helped him and his wife Emma through a major health scare.
The support that we had from people out there, people we'll never meet and we'll never know, was absolutely astonishing, and it did her so much good.
Hello from Becky and me, and welcome to this evening's programme.
First tonight, fear and fury from one Suffolk community about a plan to house sex offenders at the prison standing next to their homes.
Well, the prison service says all inmates would be risk assessed before being moved to the open prison Hoesley Bay. But that's just a mile from the village primary school. And parents say the plan is completely inappropriate.
Well, residents are voicing their concerns with the prison governor at a meeting that's due to get underway very shortly. And Tanya Mercer is there for us now. Tanya, feelings running very high in the village then?
Absolutely, yes. The meeting is due to get underway here in just under half an hour's time. It's expected to be very well attended. Just to give you some context, the community here have coexisted alongside a prison for 80 years. HMP Hoesley Bay is what's called an open prison, which means that the prisoners do have a certain amount of freedom to roam about the prison grounds, and also some even work in the community. But residents are concerned that having sex offenders in this setup is going a step too far. Walking home from school with 6-year-old Riley in a village she loves. But Jodie is worried the new proposal to house sex offenders at the nearby open prison will change everything.
This was like a very safe village, and it still is now, but my concern is when this happens, it's not going to be like that. We could just pass one in the street, we wouldn't know, and as a woman, I don't want to walk around on my own anymore.
And fellow mum Jane shares similar concerns.
I really don't want them here, but I feel that it's something that maybe we don't actually even have a say about. It's already been decided by people far higher than we can ever imagine.
Father of 5, Joel, who lives less than half a mile from the prison, is so worried he's launched an online petition against the proposal.
It's a lovely area. They should be able to enjoy the grasslands and the fields and stuff in the way that I did without feeling at threat.
And that will make you rethink letting them do that then?
Yeah, I'm afraid it will. Yeah, sad.
The Suffolk Punch Trust is a popular family destination but is right next door to the prison. The Trust says it wants reassurance from the prison service that any risk is minimised as much as possible.
What I would like to hear them say, and actually do, of course, is to ensure that before any prisoner, whether they're sex offenders or whatever, that they have that the authority is as sure as it can be that they're not going to reoffend. But one can never be 100% certain. That's part of life, isn't it?
The County's Police and Crime Commissioner Tim Passmore has written to the prison's minister to say there were no prior discussions or consultations with local communities, the constabulary or myself as part of the decision-making process. He added that he had some serious concerns about this proposal and we urgently need some reassurance regarding the potential of enhanced threat or risk locally. Nobody was available from HMP Hoesley Bay for comment, but a spokesperson from the prison service told us more sex offenders are being convicted and going to prison and spending longer there. Sex offenders are already held successfully at other open prisons, but their growing number means we need more of our open prisons to accommodate them. The prison does already house offenders serving time for a number of crimes, including murder and GBH. But despite assurances sex offenders would be suitably risk assessed, residents say the new proposal would have an even bigger effect on their community. And tonight they want reassurances their concerns are being listened to. Well, joining me now is Helen Lewis, who's chair of the Parish Council and who set up this meeting. Thank you very much for joining us, Helen. Tell me, this meeting you want very much to be about balance, don't you?
Yes, we want to know exactly what the plans of the prison are and how it's going to affect us as a community.
And in fact, this plays an important role, doesn't it, the prison in the community? And what do you hope that the meeting will achieve?
Well, I think we need clarification. There are many people in the community who actually work at the prison and others who live very close by. And we just want to know how it's going to affect us.
Helen, thank you very much. Well, today is actually the prison governor's last day in the job before he moves on to Norwich Prison. It's fair to say that he's leaving a fairly emotive issue and one that residents say that they will be taking up with his successor and continuing to fight.
Tanya Mercer, thank you very much.
Well, that news on Hoesley comes as prison officers across the country have been staging walkouts. At Norwich Prison, 80 officers held a protest in support of colleagues angry at conditions at HMP Bedford. A report yesterday said there is a dangerous lack of control at Bedford Jail. Unions say the walkouts are for health and safety reasons, though, rather than being industrial action.
We have, as a union, nationally been banging on about health and safety, probably since 2012, when they culled several hundred prison officers, and the numbers, although they're on the increase, are nowhere near what they should be.
Mid-Norfolk MP George Freeman has said Theresa May should step down after Brexit. He said a new generation should shape the country's future after EU withdrawal, and he could be the person to lead it. The Prime Minister says she will serve as long as the party wants her. Mr Freeman's comments come with the Tories increasingly divided over the government's approach to Brexit.
And I think we should allow her the chance this winter to see through the promise she made to the British people and take us to the gateway that I think hand the baton of future design of our relationship with Europe to a new generation leader.
Well, next, a shortage of special needs education places in Suffolk is expected to get worse over the next 2 years unless action is taken now.
The County Council says it expects a big increase in the number of children needing special schools or support services between now and 2020 and has just agreed to significantly expand its provision, as Russell Hookey reports.
We were hiding the keys, so you found the keys that time. Do you want to have a go this time?
Yeah.
Excellent.
At Priory School in Bury St Edmunds, children with special needs get all the support they require.
The people are nice. I've good friends and teachers are nice. The whole atmosphere is nice.
I'm new here, so it's still a cool school. So it's actually a very relaxing school.
It's where I get to make new friends and do lots of new things.
Priory is one of 7 similar schools in Suffolk, but there are still many more youngsters than places available.
It results in some young people having to travel quite a long distance. It also means that some young people don't get the specialist provision that they should be able to, or that they don't get that specialist provision in their local community. We're seeing significant demand for space here at the moment, and that's very difficult for families and the schools that they're currently in when they're not able to access the provision that they need.
The number of children needing special needs support is rising fast, meaning the shortfall will get worse unless big decisions are taken now. Providing schools like the Priory is costly, but Suffolk County Council has pledged to invest for the future.
Well, here at the Priory School, children travel from around an hour's radius, but there are many youngsters in Suffolk who don't have access to schools like this and end up having to go for their education outside the county. This latest decision means that all children, wherever they live in Suffolk, will have access to either specialist schools or support centres or extra support within mainstream education.
More children are surviving. They're surviving with far more complex needs, and they're surviving longer. And actually, just the changes in the last couple of years in the medical profession, we will see a really big increase in the years to come. We're recognising that will happen, and we are now planning for it now rather than when the children come to school age.
The scale and timescale for the expansion of provision will be decided at the start of next year, although the council points out that one new school is already in the pipeline. Russell Hookey, ITV News, Suffolk.
Well, next tonight, how thousands of volunteers are hitting the beach for a big clean-up of our coast.
It comes after a scorching summer, which showed off our beaches at their very best, but also brought us sad sights like this. These pictures from Mike Batson were taken at Southend Beach after the May bank holiday. They sparked plenty of anger. Little else leaving the beauty spot strewn with bags, bottles, barbecues, all sorts of plastic rubbish.
Well, the fight to keep our coast clean continues over the next 4 days, with more volunteers than ever before set to take part in the 25th Great British Beach Clean.
Well, that big clean is run by the Marine Conservation Society and its campaigns officer, Jack O'Donovan, joins us now. Jack, thanks so much for talking to us, but this is more than a beach clean, isn't it?
This indeed is much more than a beach clean. So the Great British Beach Clean is a beach clean and litter survey that happens all around our coasts from the 14th to the 17th of September each year. This year we've got over 7,000 volunteers signed up to over 400 beaches all across the UK. And what we'll be doing is, while we're cleaning the beaches, we're actually gathering data on all the bits of plastic and litter that we can find, and then we'll use that data later to try to create laws and policies around protecting our oceans and keeping this litter off the beaches in the first place.
So presumably, Jack, you need as many people as possible to come along.
Oh, indeed we do. And like I said, we have 7,000 volunteers pre-registered, but we're expecting quite a lot more to show up on the days, coming with friends and family. And I think that in the last year, really, the UK has recognised how the tide of plastic is rising so quickly on our shores. So we encourage as many people as possible to go to mcsuk.org and sign up to a beach clean near you.
It's such a great thing that the Marine Conservation Society is doing, but it has been doing it now for a quarter of a century, and yet we're still seeing sites like our viewers would have just seen, those awful beaches in our region as well. So what's going wrong? Why is the message not getting through, do you think?
So it's really quite interesting. I mean, we think the message is really in the last year with this Blue Planet 2 effect and also many campaigns into ocean plastic awareness. However, you do always have the common behaviours that come with the summertime boom on our beaches. We just have such an influx of people. However, all we can hope to do is continue to raise awareness and continue, and the support of organisations like ourselves, the Marine Conservation Charity, really try to highlight how important it is to protect our oceans. And then by doing events like the Great British Beach Clean, we can show people how much plastic is on the beach that they mightn't even realise.
Absolutely, Jack. And finally, just, you know, we want to join it all up, don't we? So we're collecting all the rubbish this weekend. What actually happens to that?
So in a lot of local areas, people liaise with the local councils to have collection facilities there where we can take them all to be recycled. But the most important thing when we talk about what happens with the plastic after the beaches is that before it goes to recycling, we're analysing it. And that data in the past that we gathered has been used to introduce things like the 5p carrier bag charge and also the ban on the production and sale of microbeads. Both items, plastic bags and microbeads, having a terrible effect on wildlife and our oceans.
Jack, I really hope it works. Good luck. Thanks ever so much for chatting to us.
Thank you. And if that rallying call has inspired you and you want to lend a hand this weekend, there's a full list of the big beach cleanups going on all down the coastline on our website right now at itv.com/Anglia.
It's 14 minutes past 6. You're watching ITV News in the east of the Anglia region.
Now still to come, we're at Britain's biggest boat show.
Donny will look ahead to the weekend sports, plus when Aggers pranked boycott.
It's an absolute mess. Well said, Andrew. It's also a complete wind-up, Jeffrey. And after thoughts from you, let's never get to me. Is that right?
Part 2 of our interview with cricket's Jonathan Agnew.
And some of us have seen some showers and dark clouds like this today, but find out why I'm in my sports gear and I'm at a primary school in Bury St Edmunds. Full details plus the weekend forecast coming up in about 15 minutes.
Loves a sport kit, that boy, doesn't he?
Any excuse?
Yeah.
Any excuse? Now, the region's maritime businesses are well represented at Britain's biggest boat show, which opened today in Southampton, with more than 100,000 visitors expected over the next 10 days.
Well, the organisers say it's a reflection of a buoyancy in the maritime market. Kevin Ashford has more.
There are boats of all shapes and sizes here to match any kind of budget. At the top end, this will set you back more than £2 million. Not quite so pricey is this from the Norfolk firm Dad's Boats. It's based on a craft invented by the father-in-law of the company's director.
He built his first single-seater pedal boat in 1950 to follow his remote-controlled yacht. The yacht broke eventually, but the pedal boat idea continued, and he wanted to improve the movement of the boat through water, so he made a two-seater and offset the power so that you're all pedalling at different times.